Hey guys, we're just getting techie stuff set up. Oh, yep, looks like we are. There we go. Yep,
Okay.
Let me just share it into, I'm just going to share it into the courtyard, but then keep an eye on my page. Oh, not that guy. Oh, hold on.
Just trying to get it all hooked up in the different areas right now.
There we go. Okay, we are live everywhere. And I'm watching my page where the comments were coming in last time. I'm on it. Hopefully.
Well, I don't see it on the courtyard yet. Wait, maybe I have to refresh.
Let me put the call-in number because I would love the invitation. I want people to join us today.
I know, so, I don't have it on mine either.
Welcome to Conversations for Clarity. I'm Stephanie Joseph. Celeste and I come on here live at 4 o'clock every Wednesday to just have conversations about anything and everything.
Anything and everything, whatever you guys want to talk about.
And this is set up that you can join us on our Zoom. I'm multitasking by adding the phone number on Instagram real quick. And
yeah, I don't have the number at, I guess I can.
Do you want me to give it to you, or you want to just see? If
I have it on I have the Facebook up.
Okay.
I have to remember to do that little paste thing. Thanks for being patient, guys. Patient. Thanks for being patient, guys, while we get this all set up.
Yeah, we need to find our techie person.
I know. We're going to have to find that techie person soon.
Oh, yes. Okay. So when you get yours up there, we'll get going.
You can go ahead and talk.
I can go ahead and talk. Okay. Well, last week it was very interesting because we started talking about hiding and why do we shy away from our gifts. And so we said, well, that'll be a follow-up conversation next week. And a little bit ago, I was wanting to text Celeste and be like, yeah, I'm just not feeling it today. And then I remembered that we were going to be talking about that. So
she still joined.
I still joined for that simple reason. So for those of you that joined us last week, that was something that came up in the conversation. And so we'll kind of start there. But if anybody wants to join us at any time, the call-in numbers are there. You don't have to be on video on the Zoom, or you obviously can join us through the comments if you have questions about anything. So,
but right now we're talking about why do you hide from your gifts?
Yeah,
or hiding from your gifts. So if you're someone out there that has gifts that you've been hiding from or have in the past, please feel free to call in and have a discussion with us. But I think we can get started right away with Stephanie.
I was going to say, let's start with you. Oh, well, I can say for myself, I mean, it's been so fascinating over the last year, and Celeste has been witness and held space and encouraged me so much over the last year. Why do we hide our gifts? You know, for me, it's a lot of conditioning and programming. Being a parent to two beautifully gifted, amazing children, that was the beginning of me really realizing how much I stuffed down. Because when I watch them, they naturally have their gift. Like they don't need to do anything or be anything. They have their gifts, and we as a society, parents, whatnot, as time goes on, we learn to start to rein them in and hide them and stuff them down because it's not, accepted, or we forget. I think a lot of the times it's not even an intentional. We just forget. So What's
You're
that?
getting a lot of the same. Everybody else is posting and saying not being accepted and fear of judgment and
Yeah. It's that, and here's the thing that's, I think, what's shifting for us all, and that we're supported collectively for this, is that, I mean, you and I've talked about it. Human design 5, 6 years ago wasn't a common discussion. And now you can say, and most people are like, yeah, I've heard of it, or it's not, it's like not taboo, but we're shifting collectively where you're like encouraged to accept and share your gifts and talk about it. And that's why we started doing this a year ago, is to have conversations in a space for people to share what their gifts are and to share who they be, and start unlayering and unraveling the shit that we've kind of put on and built up our exterior wall.
Yes, absolutely. Sorry, I was trying to read a comment at the same time. I agree totally. And I was thinking back on when I started my journey with Millie in San Diego about 7 years ago, 6 years or 6 now, whatever. But I remember her talking about the fact that, not that long ago, like maybe 15 years when I met her, that they had to hide. They had to hide in houses and basements when they did their healing circles because they weren't legal. They could be persecuted still for them. So just to be able to do that, that's generations. That's our grandparents and some parents that have been trained to not discuss this. Never mind show that you have these beautiful gifts. It's been suppressed. And, I tell people it's like that generation, like Millie's generation, was about showing people it was okay. Like, that's why you had all your psychics, your people that just gave messages to people, and, the gypsy fortune tellers. And they were about showing people that it is possible, it is true, and you can do it. But now this generation is meant to step up. It's not about just knowing it's true. Now, Now it's time to unlock your gifts and be proud of them and use them because they're meant to help you in your life.
When we talk about it so much in here and in all of our conversations about the puzzle, and all of us being that piece to the puzzle. And I remember, and maybe some of you can relate to this, when I had, so 2013 is when I started my, awakening and wondering and like seeing things very differently in the world and law of attraction and all that stuff. But I remember in the very beginning of my journey, and for quite a few years of it, so I would say probably the first 5 years, I would see other people who had embraced their gifts. And there was like envy, jealousy, but also like I also felt inferior because I didn't know what my gifts were. And there was lots of times where I really felt that like I don't have anything to add to the conversation. And and it's really been the last year, 2020, of stripping, being like forced cocoon and staying in my cocoon and being in my own energy and understanding what my gifts are.
Right.
And learning to literally we've talked about, take away that 6-foot radius of constantly having people in your aura and all that. Like, I was able to really sit with who I am. And I was like, wow, thank goodness I don't have that, or I don't have, or, because what I have,
good, huh?
Yeah, what I have is pretty cool. Like,
yeah.
And you don't even, it's kind of to the point where you don't even have to explain the knowing.
Right.
Just embrace and just do it,
right.
And you don't have to explain yourself anymore.
Nope. We just had someone ask a question, and I really want to mention it because it's a good question. It says, also, a lot of people are out there right now. Does the world need more of us?
Oh.
Absolutely, 1,010%. 1,010%. Because each and every one of us has our own gifts, and we share them in a way that vibrationally matches certain people at certain times in their journey when they're ready for it. So someone out there is waiting for the next person to awaken their gifts because they need to get a message or learn something from them. So absolutely, there can never be enough of us. Never.
Yeah. And so interesting enough, the collective energy is the 45th gene key, which is all
Right.
synergy, the gift of synergy, and the shadow is dominance. So we're shifting from that shadow frequency of the gurus and the dominant, like these are the people that only have the wisdom. And we're really in this space of synergy where, yes, 1,000 times, yes, share it, because we, like, for us to truly shift this collective experience, to shift, it takes each of us to step into it. And I know, like, for you, when we first met, you had invited me to your circle, your
Mediumship class.
mediumship class. And it wasn't the right time. It wasn't the right time for me, but I had done other things along the path. And then when I went, it was the right time. So if you aren't hiding your gifts, you don't know when that gift for somebody else, when they're ready for what
Right.
it is that you have to offer.
And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the length of time that you've stepped into your gifts either. It doesn't matter if you step into a gift and you've been doing it for 2 days or 20 years. Because when you awaken it, you awaken it. It's all about you trusting your gift. So the 20 years may just give you a little more confidence in really knowing that you know, but it's not the gift that changes. It's your confidence in yourself and you stepping into your authenticity. That's the difference. Because I will tell you right now, I have been teaching this class for years now. And there is not a class that one student at least does not teach me something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What came for me as you're talking is you are the gift. So by you sharing your gifts, you're sharing a piece of yourself. So I know that's something that I'm learning right now in the process of developing more. Like when I went to Celeste's class, my intention was I wanted to physically see. That was my intention, in that I want to see my gifts of seeing. And I did. And so now I'm like building it, and I'm practicing and practicing and practicing, but realizing that I am the gift, not that the gift, like, I'm a conduit of spirit, and my gift is just who I be. Right. So as you're developing, if you feel like, oh, I still, like, I need to practice more, I need these years of experience, guess what? You already are showing up as your gifts. Energetically, you're already showing up that way.
Yes.
Other people have seen it. You might just not be ready to see it quite yet.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And then she asked, how does one find people who need you? Well, if you know your human design chart, that can be very helpful in guiding you how you should operate in finding those people. But what it truly boils down to is setting your intentions and trusting that the universe is going to align you with exactly who needs you. And then pay attention, because a lot of times, especially in the beginning, when you're just understanding this and opening up to your gifts, the clues and the signs are very subtle. They're very subtle in the beginning. They don't hit you as hard because you're not used to them and you don't necessarily trust them. So just be aware.
And surrender the need for the exchange, like doing it for the money or doing it for, and not saying that this person is doing that, but I've seen that a lot, that the book was just talking about. So communion is the highest level of this 45th gene key. And it's all like the end of money. It's the end of needing to have a financial exchange that we end up just energetically exchange. And so surrender, like over on Dance to Remembrance, we're doing the surrender project, and it's really setting your intentions. Ask God to bring you one person today, or bring you one person this week, or practice with your family, or practice with your kids, or whatever that is, but set those intentions and ask for what it is that you need, and then they'll show up. It's like, what's that saying? When the student is ready, the teacher appears.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and so
absolutely.
setting the
Always.
intention that,
Okay, now we have it's hard when others judge you for your gifts. Some explode quickly and others try to keep you from progressing. Then they're not your people. So don't even take it to heart. Just, it's their journey. They're just not your people.
yep. And that's what I would add, is that it's not you, it's
Right.
them.
It's not you at all. Just know who you are and trust that. And the more we stand into our authenticity, then the brighter our light becomes. And then the right people find us, and the other ones just realize that it's not even worth putting you down anymore.
When it's like, think back in your life of when you've done things for other people, like, and not for yourself, when you have hid something because somebody told you that, or when, like, think back on those times and how did you feel? How did you feel when you hid and cowered? That's not the energy you need to be around.
Right.
Like, be around the people that build you up and that
Absolutely.
courage.
Absolutely. Is it possible? All kinds of questions today. I love it. Is it possible to have physical symptoms if you're not doing something aligned with your soul? Absolutely. Absolutely, 100% it is. That's our chakras. That's energy. Many times the dis-eases that we have in our body are because of energy blocks when we're not aligned and not operating correctly.
Well, and Celeste and I, nothing is off the table in our conversations. Bowel movements, that's been really, really fascinating to me over the last couple months. When I'm processing something,
Mm-hmm.
my body processes waste.
Yep.
So recognize like different patterns in your body of how it's moving, physically moving stuff out of you. Or if you're, crying without the crying, but like just the release of tears, like just start witnessing those things around your body and question.
Yep.
Like, ask source. Like, that was something our friend Ashley we were talking about this. I'm like, God, I want to have these kind of conversations, because this has, watching my bowel movements over the last couple months has been fascinating.
Yeah.
You're noticing it when I'm processing and releasing a lot of guilt and the judgments and the shame that my body pushes through, pushes.
Yep.
Literally. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There was something I was going to add to that.
When you're feeling stuck, you're feeling stuck.
Right. Oh, I was going to add, and food. When we eat, we have been taught so many different things over the years growing up. You have to have 3 square meals a day. Don't skip them. No, you have to have 5 or 6 smaller ones. Don't skip breakfast. Don't do this. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, ask your body. I have been more and more just intuitively, before I eat things, ask. And it's fascinating when my body tells me, no, you're just bored. You're not hungry, you're bored, go do something. And you get up and do something and it goes away. Or no, you're not hungry, with my stomach growling, no, you're not hungry, you need water.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And if we just listen and pay attention, you'll get the right answers.
Yep.
I think I missed a few here. Oh, do you put yourself on social media versus marketing in the community? I do both. I am at a point now that anyone that knows me knows that this is my living. This is what I do. I mean, I went to Starbucks the other day and the woman said, "What do you do for work?" And I said, "I'm a psychic medium and a life coach." And she looked at me, "Do you have a card?" I mean, people don't expect that answer right now, but that's, I'm who I am. I certainly don't hide anymore. So I do both.
Yeah, I think do what feels good to you. If it feels forced, start with watching those things. Social media, sometimes, being a generator, I listen to my sacral, and if I start feeling frustration and noticing where I'm drained more from social media than excited and engaged, then I stop, take a break. Because you don't, like, this is what's really shifting for us. And I do this through the gene keys. Like, you have your unique branding, you have your unique energetic way of talking to people. And, you have like all these algorithms and all of these things that they've been pushing for years of how to be a successful business owner. And I'm sorry, you can be successful with a following of 20 people You don't need these hundreds and thousands of people, because the one person that deserves your services will be there. Will be like, let it go. You know,
Absolutely. No, I agree.
So much to do it this certain way, and nope.
I guess I should have added, I do the social media, but definitely not the way you're supposed to. My social media is very sporadic, and it is at this point in time truly only source inspired. When they're like, oh, post, and I get on it and do it. Otherwise, it's very rare. I post my events and stuff, and that's about it.
Yeah, and I think also shifting the energy of sharing versus selling.
Right.
Just sharing what you have. And I know, like, I mean, I have a sales background, and you know, your features and benefits and all of these things. And I was like, really, and this was only a last year thing for me. I was like married to my phone in past adventures in business.
Remember.
Married to my phone, and checking emails and checking social media all of the time, and making sure I had to be there and respond right away. And you don't.
Nope.
You don't.
I used to be that way too.
Yep. I think we all go through it. It's like this rite of passage of
and it's so freeing to not have to be like that anymore. But I'll tell you, just like everything, when you start making those changes, know that it's going to rub people around you the wrong way, because they're used to you being a certain way. But again, it's up to you to stay in your authenticity and let them come along when they're ready. And if they don't, it's okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh, I find myself giving services free, then paying. I want to give back. And so it started from that, but how to ask for costs without it being too much or too less. Well, I can only share with you what I did in the beginning. When I was first starting out, I asked for love donations. Mm-hmm. I would just put up a little sign saying, you know, love donation, grateful for love donations, or love donations accepted, whatever you want, and let people give whatever they wanted. And then when I began feeling more comfortable in my gifts, and the fact that it's all about an energy exchange, a common amount is $1 a minute. So if you're going to give someone an hour session, that's usually a common amount to start with. And then it just go from there, whatever you feel is correct for what you're doing.
And you could change it anytime.
Anytime. I mean, I have all my classes that I teach in my weekend seminars, but I promise you there isn't one weekend seminar or session or event that I hold that I don't have at least a couple people that are scholarshiped or at a lower price, because I also don't want people to ever not be able to experience and step into themselves, because I couldn't afford. I lived in lack most of my life and couldn't afford a lot of this stuff that I wanted to do. So I don't want anyone else to ever feel that way.
Yeah. Good question.
Yeah. You just have to do what's comfortable for you.
And if you know your design type, if you're a generator, right, you can ask your sacral, you can play around with it. And
absolutely.
Always
I love that human design. We have to start those podcasts again, but that's a whole other topic. So
oh my gosh, I know. We do. Man, it's already 4:27.
I know. It's like as soon as we change this to a half an hour, we're like, but it's okay. It's a good summertime. Stay in touch. And then maybe this fall we can get people calling in and go back to the hour.
Yeah, I like that idea. I like that.
But it's always a pleasure being with all of you. Thank you so much for joining in with today's conversation. If you have any questions or topics you would like us to talk about, feel free to DM or message either one of us, and we will be sure to discuss it. Absolutely. We will see you next week.
All right, you guys take care.
Take care.